Oh my god, I'm gonna be sick. I am gonna be sick.
Hello, and welcome back to my channel. We are going to be doing another 24-hour readathon. Another one. And is it because I love to torture myself? No. It is because I may have failed last time, but I'm going to do it differently now, so I will succeed, and no one can take that from me. I am not doing 24 hours straight in a row. No, I don't think I can do that again. I mean, maybe, never say never, but today is not that day. I'm going to be doing the timer method. So that way I can sleep, I can take breaks, I can still live my life, but I'll still complete the 24 hours. Don't know how many days this will take me. I'm hoping like 3 to 4, but it could very well be a week. So yeah, I'm just going to start the timer every time I start reading, and then once I'm done reading for however long that was, I'm gonna hit pause, and then I'm gonna go live my life, and then I'm gonna be like, okay, time to read, hit play again, and keep going, okay? So that's what we're gonna do, and I wanna focus this 24-hour readathon on my April monthly TBR. This is my April TBR. I have not finished any of these books yet, and it is April 12th? Yes. So it's been almost 2 weeks. I haven't read any of these books. So let's see how many I can read in 24 hours. These planes need to stop. I'm trying to live my life, but they won't let me. They won't let me. Fly away, you little plane. I am going insane, listening to you. How about you? Okay, it's gone. I did start Butcher and Blackbird last night. I am 100 pages into it. So we're gonna start off with this book. Definitely finish this. And then I'm hoping we could read like 4 more. I don't know. I'm a slow reader. So I'm actually really curious how many books I will have read once the 24 hours is done. I'm really enjoying this so far. It's so different from anything else I've ever read. But I'm very intrigued by the dynamic. So if you are unfamiliar, this is about 2 serial killers who fall in love. It's a dark romantic comedy, and that's what intrigued me to it, because I'm like interested in dark romance, but I don't really want to get into dark romance. But this is a rom-com, and it truly is. The first 100 pages, I both was like, ooh, and laughing. Get you a book that can do both, you know? So they are 2 serial killers. They become friends, and they start having this competition where they try to take out people first, which they only take out bad people. So I mean, if that makes you feel better. Don't mind the fish tank noise. I just finished everything that I need to get done today, so now I can start reading. Start the timer now. So I just got to the accidental cannibalism part. Oh my gosh. I didn't know what to expect from the scene. I didn't know the circumstances. I didn't know the people. I didn't know the motives. Now that I've read it, I feel a lot better about it. But I'm pretty sure in the trigger warnings it said there's also a not so accidental cannibalism moment. Don't know what that's gonna be. Okay, I just got to a mention of cookies and cream ice cream, which I've heard people said this book ruined that flavor for them. Let's see what this whole ice cream thing is about. I would agree, Sloan. I might never look at ice cream the same way again. I will say, if you are squeamish, you're gonna have trouble reading this book. I've already been like trying not to gag a few times. I mean, the ice cream thing was gross, don't get me wrong, but I think the accidental cannibalism, that one was worse for me personally. I want to share a line that like doesn't fully make sense out of context. I mean, it does, but doesn't. And it's Sloan describing who Rowan is to someone. She goes, he's my boy, guy, a man guy I'm with here. Smooth, real smooth. And Rowan goes, man guy, real smooth, Blackbird. I am so tired, so I think I'm gonna call it a night for day 1. I was hoping to get at least 4 hours done. I got 3 hours and 12 minutes done. And it's like going on 1 a.m. right now. we made some progress. I read at such a slow pace today. I only read 101 pages in 3 hours. Usually I would read like 150 pages in 3 hours, not 101. I'm gonna get a good night's sleep and start back up tomorrow and hopefully read at least 6 to 8 hours. Hopefully. So I've been reading all morning. I have around 70 pages left. I have 18.5 hours still left in this challenge. I will say a quick little review. I am very much enjoying it. It has been so funny and creepy in a good way. And I had a thought to myself a few pages ago where I'm like, okay, things seem to be like kind of smooth right now, like plot-wise and like relationship-wise. Like, they're on, you know, everything's good. It's like something's gonna happen, like a third act something is gonna happen. I'm at page 274 and from the page before I knew something was about to happen and I am right. So let's keep reading to see what happens. I'm nervous. Okay. Oh no. Oh no, I'm scared. Oh no, I'm scared. Don't do what I think you're gonna do. Please don't. No. Don't say that. Wait, I feel like there's a code in what they're saying, but I don't know if the person listening to this other person speak is understanding the code. No. Oh, my heart. I don't know if we can come back from this. See, how do I go from like freaking out and wanting to cry to laughing? How does that happen? Yes. Okay, yes. Please, come on. Okay. Okay. Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm gonna be sick. I am gonna be sick. Ooh. So I was in the middle of reading an intense climactic scene when my friend called me to go to Target because they're having a buy 2 books get 1 for free deal. And so I had to close my book at one of the most intense scenes of the entire thing so far. I am back from Target and it's time for a book haul. Rule book by Sarah Adams. This is the second book after the cheat sheet and I'm so excited. I love Sarah Adams writing. We know that on this channel. King of Greed by Anna Huang, the 3rd book in the Kings of Sin series. I read the first 2 and I was like, you know, this deal, the buy 2 get 1 free. I was like, I might as well get the next in a series that I'm in the middle of. And then this is a classic book talk book. I've wanted to read it for years now, I just never got it. And that is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. How many planes can fly in the span of 3 minutes? The answer? Many. Let's get back into reading Butcher and Blackbird because I need to know how this crazy scene ends. We are just under 17 hours and I finished Butcher and Blackbird. I am gonna wait to give you all my final thoughts on all the books I read at the end of the video, but definitely was a good time, I will say that. So here are the books on my April TBR that we have to choose from. I do have 3 nonfiction books and I just don't see myself actively like reaching for a nonfiction. Thinking of doing a tandem read with The Defining Decade and another book. Okay, I think I'm going to do a tandem read of The Defining Decade and Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I'm nervous because I'm still just dipping my toes into fantasy and romantasy. I don't know how I'll like this, but I really hope I do.
Going the wrong way. I guess all you can do is hope someone comes along in a boat or something. Ian concluded, almost with relief.
It is now day 3 and we have made some progress. Yesterday I read for 5.5 hours, which was less than I wanted to, but I just had some things that I did yesterday so I couldn't fit in 6 to 8 hours. And so overall I read 3 pages of the Bible. I finished Butcher and Blackbird, which was 144 pages. And then I ended up not doing the tandem read like I had planned, and instead I listened to the audiobook of The Defining Decade on Spotify. It was the updated version. So this book was written in like 2012, but the updated version is 2021. Some like edits and there's some new chapters in the updated version, which I think were beneficial because they're a little bit more modern. I listened to about 84 pages of The Defining Decade last night. So that was a total of, oh my gosh, how 200 something. And then this morning I finished The Defining Decade. I just played through the audiobook for like an hour and a half, read about 100 and oh my gosh. So now we officially have 2 books completed. We have 13 hours and 45 minutes left. I do have like a brunch planned with a friend later, and we might do some book shopping. So when I come back later today, I'll start Divine Rivals. So far my reading pace has been so slow when I'm reading like physical books. Oh, Larry Reed's just posted her bookshelf tour. 400 plus books. Wow, she could never. Anyway, my reading pace has been really slow. So I'm hoping that I can get back to my normal pace of like 50 pages an hour so that I can read this book and hopefully another book, but I don't know. If my reading pace is still super slow, I might not be able to read 2 more books, but hopefully. It's a lot hotter out today than I thought it was going to be, but I did get another book I really wanted. Okay, make your guess. You have 3 seconds. 2, 1. Bride by Allie Hazelwood. Now, time to start Divine Rivals. Why is it in 3rd person? Why are we doing this? Okay, I love the brother-sister bond we got going on. This is so precious. I did not read a lot today. I read for 2 hours and 55 minutes. I meant to start reading again, but just the day went by and I didn't end up reading. So I read 164 pages total today. I read 106 of, what is the phone? Defining Decade. Don't know what the phone meant, but the audiobook of Defining Decade, and then I read 58 pages of Divine Rivals. We're halfway done! We are 12 hours in and we have 12 hours to go, and it's taken 4 days to get to this halfway point. So I need to pick up my pace. I just haven't really been in the mood to read a ton the past few days. Let's do a little halfway recap. So we finished Butcher and Blackbird, which I'd already read 100 pages of when we started this, but still, I finished Butcher and Blackbird. Then I also read and listened to The Defining Decade, which I had read the first like 30 pages back in December. Here we have 2 books read. I am now 78 pages into Divine Rivals. I think because it's a fantasy and it kind of takes me a little bit to get into a fantasy, I just haven't been in the mood to pick it up. I'm enjoying it. I'm not, obsessed yet. I hope I will be, because everyone I know that has read this has rated it 4 or 5 stars. I'm definitely interested, but I'm not needing to know what happens. I mean, what just happened now was kind of intense, and I definitely feel for Iris. I don't think I've mentioned what Divine Rivals is about, so I'm sure you know, but if you don't, that's okay, and I will try my best to inform you. So basically, this is a fantasy world, and they have different gods and goddesses, and the gods are at war with each other. People, humans, are in this war and fighting on different sides. So Iris's brother is fighting for one of the gods in this war, and it's causing her home life with her mom to be strained. She's struggling a lot with it, and she is also a writer at this newspaper, and she's trying to get this promotion, but she's rivals with Roman, who's also up for the same promotion. And so then she ends up writing letters to her brother because she misses him and is struggling, and she can't really send them to him, so she just slides them underneath her closet door, and by magic these letters actually end up in Roman's hands. He writes letters back, but she doesn't know it's him. So let's read for 12 more hours. I've only read for 26 minutes today, and it is 9 p.m. I feel like this is more so what I realistically read in a week type video than a 24-hour readathon, but it's okay. We're gonna get through the 24 hours and it'll be good. It's what I keep telling myself. I think I'm gonna call it a night on day 4. I only read for 2 hours and 10 minutes. Now listen, I just want to say, on a normal average day, that is great. When I'm trying to read 24 hours, that is not much. I'm almost halfway. I'm a little bit more invested and interested. I'm not obsessed, but I am enjoying it and curious to continue reading and see what happens, both relationship-wise and also like world-wise with the war and everything. Tomorrow is like a free day for me, so I promise to you, tomorrow, day 5, oh my gosh, we are going to read for at least 6 hours, at least, okay? I'm freaking out. I'm scared. I am tired of men and their inability to communicate what they're thinking. This man is literally being asked a question and he just looks and says something and then walks away. Like, that's the most annoying thing ever. He's pissing me off. And no, I won't tell you who he is. Okay, I'm new to fantasies, but what is it? With every fantasy book I've read, and it's in a series, always ends like this. I'm like such a cliffhanger. Dang. Okay, time to pick our next book. So we have 5 options left on my April TBR, and we have 6 hours and 13 minutes remaining. So we have limited options. Listen, I am not going to be able to finish this book in 6 hours. If I am able to just sit and focus on the book while I read, I should be able to read around 300 pages, which means this one is out because this is 350. But I do kind of want to read just like a cute fun romance because I need a break from the dark romance and the fantasy and self-help. I can't finish this in that time, which like is fine, but I would prefer to finish a book. Kind of left to these 3. I do want to read the auditioning book, but I feel like that might not be the most entertaining for you guys. This might not be everyone's interest. So I could read Experiencing Friendship with God. It's about 160 pages. I could read this in about 3 hours, but then I'd still have another 3 hours. I'm thinking I'm going to choose The Wife Upstairs. It's 290 pages, so I should be able to finish it. It is a mystery and or thriller. Don't really know the difference, to be honest. This is like a retelling of Jane Eyre. Jane is a broke dog walker in this gated community with like McMansions and board housewives. And Eddie is a recently widowed man whose wife had a mysterious death. And Jane and Eddie fall for each other, but Jane is haunted by the legend of Bee, his first wife. That's all we know. But if you know more about Jane Eyre, you kind of know where this is going to go. I read the first chapter a while ago and was kind of bored, so hopefully it won't stay boring. It is day 7 of this challenge. It's been a full week. I thought this would take 3 to 4 days. No. It's been 7 days. We will finish this challenge today. We will. Yesterday in day 6, I did not really film anything because I only read for an hour and 16 minutes. And it was like 10 p.m. at night. I read 66 pages yesterday of The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins, which, side note, I had read the first 8 pages a few months ago, and then I just put it down. I woke up this morning, I had just under 5 hours left, and I've just been speeding through this. My reading pace is so fast for me with this book, which I am surprised by. I've been reading for less than 2 hours, and I've read 120 pages. That would usually take me an hour, 2.5 hours to read. I have a little under 100 pages left, and I have 3 hours and 2 minutes left on the clock. So we will definitely finish this in time. I was worried that I would be like chasing the clock. I don't know if that's the right phrase, but I was worried that I would be like running out of time to finish this book in time with the timer based on my average reading pace, but that's not the case here. We're gonna have like an extra hour or so. I am enjoying it. I'm not obsessed. I'm not loving it. I want to say something, but I don't know if it's gonna be like considered a spoiler because I'm not saying who, but at the same time, if you don't want to hear a spoiler, but it's a comment I want to make about all thrillers pretty much, skip ahead like 10 seconds. Okay, here it is. I am so kind of over every thriller having an affair. Why is there an affair in most, if not all, thrillers or mysteries? Like, I'm just over it. It's always an affair. Okay. Spoiler-esque type part is over. I just finished chapter 26 and I kind of learned about our female main character's past, and it's kind of been like hinted at throughout the first 200 pages of the book. So I'm like, oh, like what happened? Who did what? This is gonna be good. It was revealed. It wasn't boring, but the way it was revealed was so boring. It was literally just her internal dialogue just telling us what happened in her past. That's how it was revealed. And I was like, that was really anticlimactic. I'm about to start part 9, and something that's really interesting is that my views on the characters and which characters I like and don't like and trust and don't trust keep changing. The twists are twisting. What? I'm sorry, what? I'm at a loss. That was twisty and turny, not what I expected, and I still have so many unanswered questions. I get why it ended like it did. I get the vibes, Rachel Hawkins, I get it. But also, I want to know the answers to my questions. I was gonna take a walk before finishing this book, but I couldn't put it down. I have like an hour and 35 minutes left on the clock or something like that. So I am going to go for my walk and get some fresh air and, you know, touch some grass and listen to a nice podcast and kind of thaw my mind. My mind needs to be thawed. Just thawed, defrosted. My mind needs to come down from this confusion. Okay, we need to figure out what we're doing. I got back from my little walk and had some dinner. Now we have an hour and a half left on the clock. Originally I was thinking about reading a booklet by Eric Gilmore called Quieting Love, because these are always just quick little books, but I realized that the booklet is actually only 15 pages and the rest of this is all notes. This will take me way less than an hour and a half. I also have When God Winks by Squire Rushnell. Sure, I've already read the first 2 chapters. I don't know if I can finish this in time. This is like a 165 page book. I've already read the first 20 pages. They are smaller pages, so maybe I could read it in time. I did the math and I'll have to read 1.5 pages per minute. It's cutting it close and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it, but I think I'm going to attempt this. Finish this book. I think it's been on my TBR the longest. I have exactly 30 minutes left and I have 48 pages left. I feel like my brain is running a marathon. I'm trying to read so fast while still taking it in. We're so close. Come on, Jesus. Let's finish this book in 30 minutes. I literally finished this with seconds to spare. I can't believe it. I did it. Yes. My eyes were like crazy. I have like an adrenaline rush. My heart is like pacing. It's been a few days since I finished the 24-hour readathon that lasted me a week. So let's recap all the books we read. Also, look, we have a new TBR cart. I'm so excited. Go check out my YouTube shorts or book talk to see how I set this bad boy up. I'm so happy with it and I'm so excited that it's pink, so I'm really excited. So we read these 5 books. I read Hopeless in another YouTube video. If you missed that, go check that out on my channel. Book number 1, Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver. I ended up rating this 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I am not like a dark romance type person. I'm okay with like a few dark elements, but I don't like it when it's like a really dark. I think this is kind of as dark as I'm gonna be okay with. This is like a lighter dark romance. It's still dark. It's about 2 serial killers who fall in love. So it is graphic. If you're squeamish, you're gonna have some trouble sometimes. I did, but it's a romantic comedy. And like the banter is so funny. Like they'll be in these crime scenes basically, and they're still like bantering and flirting and joking, and it's so good, and I laughed so much with this book. It was a little too much for me at times with certain things, both with the spice and with the gory graphicness of it, but overall, I did really enjoy it, so 4 stars. I listened to the audiobook of The Defining Decade by Meg J, PhD. I listened to the updated version, which is from 2021, so it had a few more chapters and had some edits that made it more modern and fitting to today's world compared to 2012, because a lot has changed since then. I gave it 3 stars. I definitely enjoyed it, and it was kind of inspirational to like make me want to work more towards my life and my goals, because I'm in that weird post-grad year of my life and it's a confusing time. But reading these stories about people with their careers and love life and all these things, she's like a therapist for 20-somethings, and hearing her like kind of help people out of the different ruts that I relate to was very inspirational. And I was like, yeah, that's right. Like, I just need to do something. I just need to go for it. I need to whatever. It's like, that was nice. But a lot of it was common knowledge, to be honest. But at the same time, it was a lot of good knowledge that people in their 20s need to know. So I still enjoyed it. And then I read Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, and I ended up rating it a 3.75 stars. It definitely wasn't my favorite read, since it not being a 4 or 5, but I still enjoyed it. I wasn't really invested in it until I was like over 50% of the way through. I kind of felt like the world building wasn't all that great. It felt kind of simple, and it wasn't worded well in my opinion. Like, I was kind of confused at first, and then I kept reading, and then it was explaining like the politics or whatever, and then I was like, wait, that's it? Like, that's the issue? Like, that's what's going on? Like, what? I still like enjoyed like the political conflict, but I do wish it was more complex somehow, or just, I wish it had something more. Like, I felt like it was lacking something. But I did love the letters with Roman and Iris, but I also felt like their love story was kind of choppy. I don't know, I didn't feel like it flowed the best, but I still enjoyed it and had fun with it, and I loved, you know, kind of like the plot of the letters and their feelings and how their feelings progressed and the enemies to lovers. So it was good. It wasn't amazing in my opinion, but I am invested and I do want to get the second book. And then I read a mystery, The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins. I ended up rating this at 3.5 stars, which for a mystery is really good. I usually rate a mystery like 2 stars or like 4 or 5. So the 3.5 is good. It was so fast paced. My reading pace for the first 3 books were so slow, and then this one I was reading it so fast. So that was amazing. There were lots of different like twists and turns that were interesting, but I wasn't obsessed with it. I wasn't like super impressed, but I did enjoy it and I wanted to keep reading. I think the ending was good, and I get why it ended like that, and the ending makes sense. But I do have more questions now, and I don't think they're gonna get answered because I don't think there's a second book. But maybe you might like that type of ending where it leaves you with more questions than answers. Or, you know, I had a lot of answers, but I just had then more questions after. I don't know. And then we had an hour and a half left on the clock, as you guys saw, and I didn't know if I would be able to do it, but I finished a 5th book, When God Winks by Squire Rushnell. It's a short book, 160 pages, small pages, and it's all about God winks. So his definition is not a coincidence, but an event or experience so astonishing it must be of divine origin. Another term for answered prayer. So it's like really kind of just when like God shows up in your life, and there's things that like other people would be like, oh, that's such a coincidence. But like as a believer, you're like, no, that's not a coincidence. Like, I don't believe in coincidences. I believe in my Jesus, you know? So I loved reading about the God winks. They had stories of so many different people with so many different areas of their life, with their career, with their love life, with sports, with their friendships, with their families. There's all these really cool God winks that I loved reading about. I love God winks so much. I love reading that. It was really inspiring. It really uplifted my faith. However, there were things in this book where it was like, here's, you know, your 10 steps to help you create your own God winks. Listen. I'm not even going to get into the whole New Age manifest thing. That's a whole separate topic. If he wanted to write about, you know, manifesting things into your life, that's different. That's separate from God winks. I'm just going to put that to the side. God winks are literally God communicating with you. I can't create my own God winks. Like, that's not the point of it. It's not for me to like make things work out in my life. It's confirmation from God that I'm following his will and not my own, and that God has a plan for me. Like, that's the whole point of a God wink. I ended up not rating this book. I didn't know how to rate it. Here are the 5 books that I read in this video in 24 hours, even though it took me a week. 4 of these books I had already started at some point in the past. I read 100 pages before starting this video. I read the first 30 pages back in December. I read the first 8 pages of The Wife Upstairs also months ago. And I read the first 20 pages of God Winks, or When God Winks, also a few months ago. So this video was really just to help me get through these books that I started but just never finished. I'm very impressed that I read the 5 books. I literally was finishing this last one with seconds to spare. And that is it. I completed the 24 hours. Thank you so much for joining along. This has been a journey to say the least. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!